Is it working? So sometimes people like to hear me talk over some of these videos, I guess, about how I did it. And because there's a new Guilty Gear coming out eventually, I guess I'll explain some of the sort of, like I said, the fundamental knowledge about how about a lot of how Guilty Gear works actually originally came from me. And I have made a number of videos showing how things work. And one of the most important things is how the idea of storing properties from one move to another kind of works on Guilty Gear, and how you have to override one property, or one property might have priority over another, that kind of thing. So I don't want to go too in depth, but and I'll probably make a Shinakuma video later. But I actually have to go get the game because I actually don't even have Guilty Gear anymore. So I have to go get the game to even explain what Shinakuma is actually. But let me explain some of these videos that it'll help you understand a little bit more about how Guilty Gear actually works, I guess, right? So what did I show in this video? So this video at first is showing, okay. So what happens is, watch what happens, and I'll explain what's going on. Reversal throw. Now, why was that weird? Okay. Now, what this is actually showing is, I hadn't shown this, but Kai had jumped in the air and done a jump dust, okay? So Kai does a reversal throw. He does a stand hard slash. None of that is jump cancelable, obviously, right? But because I have still stored the jump property from earlier in the match without totally fulfilling it, I am allowed to still jump cancel moves that are not jump cancelable, actually, right? I mean, I know there's some people who are like, oh, Clayton says he found jump canceling. That's never what I found. But in terms of actually showing the way that properties store in the game and how you can abuse that and to what extent actually is something I showed when I was winning all those tournaments, and I used to travel around and I would show people various examples. So again, Kai jump cancels without actually ever jump canceling, right? So I RC, and you can see I'm FDing, right? But then boom, I can't block when I land on the ground, right? Why can I not block when I land on the ground? Because when I had jumped, I had done a jump dust, and I had never fulfilled that jump dust recovery yet, or done a move that overrides that property. So thus, until that property is actually finally fulfilled or overwritten by something with more priority, I actually can no longer block whenever I hit the ground. Infinitely. Infinitely for the rest of the match. I'm not joking. Of course, there's many ways you can override it, but it is technically possible to go on forever, right? So if we watch that again, reversal throw, jump install a move with moves that cannot be jump installed, basically, to show. And then so that I've done dust, I can no longer block whenever I hit the ground now, right? Let's look at another example. What do I show here? Just to show that how properties, again, go from one thing to another, right? So I show an example, again, a reversal throw. I jump install a move that is not jump installable, right? I do a blue FRC fireball, right? Even the blue FRC fireball, you see I'm blocking? I still cannot ever block when I land on the ground now unless I fulfill that recovery or do something that has more priority to it, right? So again, showing to what extent it goes, right? And then I show another example here. I think I showed Potemkin, right? So watch this to see what happens. Potemkin, boom, boom, boom. He's trying to FD, but watch. Ooh, he gets hit. Wait a second, okay. Why could he not block that when he landed, right? Watch this, right? He's trying to FD. He falls down. He's trying to get a little thundercock right there. He still can't block, right? So what this was showing is, again, showing how properties stall. Potemkin had done a jump dust in the match earlier, okay? Potemkin had done a jump dust earlier in the match, but he had never allowed that recovery to totally fulfill or overridden it with another property. So he blocks a Kai Fireball. Potemkin can actually no longer block whenever he hits the ground now. Do you see what I'm saying? So he gets hit. I just RC it to show it's something simple. Boom, Potemkin's been hit. He blocks. He techs. That recovery still must be eventually fulfilled. And if I were to hit him again after that, that still counts as that property not being totally fulfilled. And for the rest of the match, it doesn't matter. That will always happen, and Potemkin can no longer block whenever he lands on the ground for the rest of the match, unless he fulfills that recovery or he does something that has more priority than that recovery. Okay? That's what I was showing right there, right? And so that's what a Guilty Gear goes by those rules for a lot of things, right? You can like store properties to one other, so you can store if jump installing one move here earlier in the match, you can store it from another things. You know, there's so many different bugs you can do with it, but that's what I was showing right there. And what do we have here? Here was an example of, say, if people, and these would be examples I would show people. Again, these are old videos, right, that I just eventually I would put up to YouTube way back in the day, right? So Kai is actually standing, right? But then, boom, my stand slash makes him duck because I have stored a property on Kai that makes it so he will always be ducking, right? So again, talking about storing properties and moves, right? What do I show here? Again, I showed that he can block, right? Again, people don't realize this is back in Reload, dude, and I was winning tournaments back in Xbox. Like I said, people really don't get a lot of the knowledge of how Guilty Gear works actually did come from me. So Kai's done a jump dust, right? Boom. I sweep him, right? Okay, so we saw that, but wait. Kai does jump dust. He gets knocked out of it. He tries to block. He techs. He can't block. Does jump dust again. Boom. Can't block. Boom. Can't block. Continues over and over until that property has been fulfilled, okay? Various examples, right? And boom. Showing even with burst, you know what I mean? What's here? I think this is just showing. I think this is just showing neutral tech. You can keep your invincibility to get out of certain things. Yeah. So then you're allowed to reverse off a neutral tech. That's pretty easy, right? Boom, boom. There's soul. What do I show here? I don't remember. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So he gets stuck ducking even though he's running, right? So you could see that, right? He's not in a ducking animation. He gets stuck ducking. Blah 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 blah. What is this? I think this is like another dust thing. Yeah, see? Boom, he can't block anymore, right? Pretty simple. That's just something silly. Oh, yeah, so there you go. Making it so you can't be thrown anymore. Pretty simple. Again, I show another example, making it so you can't be thrown anymore. I can no longer be thrown. Pretty simple. Again, showing the way different properties store. You can store different supers, etc. Again, this is old, making your moves throw invincible, blah, 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 blah. I can no longer be thrown, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd showed that, you know, it actually carries over into newer games as well. Can no longer be thrown, blah, 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 blah. Storing properties, you know, the hitbox gets stored basically, so Potemkin, blah, blah, blah. Shows that. This was, what is this part? Again, storing properties, so I FRC. I had done a fireball before though, right? So I FRC the big blue, but I had done a fireball earlier in the match and I had never fulfilled that recovery. So I'm allowed to now FRC at different points during the match if I want to. Blah, 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 blah. Actually, Slash has a really an interesting glitch too, and I've talked about this before. The way I did that one Potemkin combo is if someone has thrown you as chip, the characters get stuck longer on the ground. There's actually a interesting bug too where if you've ever been alpha countered, you can change in old Guilty Gears, if you've ever been alpha countered, you can change what kind of off the ground situations you want to as well, right? And then Slash was a situation where you can make it so, people get stuck on the ground longer actually by storing properties, right? This is a weird glitch that if you super rate as a guy can potentially tech, they can no longer tech, right? So then they can tech afterwards, but you could see just showing the teching was on, right? So bam, blah, 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 blah. That's just some like weird hitbox stuff there, like to show that if you get hit at certain points, you can't block. Kind of Street Fighter Alpha 1-ish almost. Blah, blah, blah. What else was other stuff? I think I just keep showing the soul thing just in case people are like, oh, that wasn't real. Whoa, this was a weird one, right? Man, you're talking about weird shit I found in games. If you Kara cancel Angie's forward punch, he does that move. Pretty fucking weird, dude. I guess I probably should have had inputs on, but if you Kara cancel Angie's 4+ punch and try to go into instant kill mode, he will do that move. Very fucking weird. Very fucking weird. There's some other weird slash glitches too, but I don't have everything on tape. But man, I mean, there's just so many glitches I've found in this game and other various games throughout the years. But anyway, that was some examples of stuff. I've had other videos as well, but this video is already 10 minutes. I got my 10 minutes of YouTube time, I guess. I'll put out a Shinakuma video, I guess, as well, because it's amazing that people are trying to talk about Shinakuma and they have no idea what the fuck it is. It just goes to show you people are not as smart as they think they are, dude. But anyway, the end.